For joining me. Joe Biden opened his mouth and said, maybe I shouldn't say it. Let's talk about it.
Or where they went, they caught 78 known terrorists within the beginning of this year alone.
And thank you everybody for being with me. My goodness, Joe Biden, it really looks like Joe Biden is going to take us into World War III. It really does. It looks like he's going to take us into World War III. And he's almost like not hiding the fact. And like I told everyone, with all this information that just recently came out about, the Durham report, the FBI, I said it would not surprise me if they go to the extreme, if they were not to do something, something's going to happen, right? They have to do something. They need something to happen. They need something to take place in order for all this chaos to take place. Let me share this first one with you with Joe Biden talking about these F-16. He's talking about the F-16s that's possibly going to go to Ukraine. Now, Putin has already made it clear that if the United States of America provide F-16s to Ukraine, that it means that it's going to be the United States of America will be at war with Russia. Now, we are technically, if you ask me, we are already at war with Russia. It's just a proxy war. And we've had proxy wars for forever, right? We've always had proxy wars. But now, it's like they're taking it to the next level. Now they're going to be like, okay, we're going to go full on war if Ukraine receives these F-16s. It's pretty bad. Listen to what Joe Biden says about the F-16s.
So, and it will proceed. I can't, even if I think I do know, but I'm not going to tell you because that would not be a smart thing to do either.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? He's like, well, maybe I shouldn't say, right? He's like, I don't want to let the cat out the bag. Do you think that when you have the Russians looking at that they're not going to really be paying any attention to that? Really? Do you think they're not going to be paying any attention to that? Of course they are. Of course they are. You know they're going to be paying attention to it. What do you think, Shannon? You think Russia's like dumb enough to be like, well, it's okay. He's just going to give them F-16s. It's fine.
I mean, I'm surprised that Putin hasn't already said we're at war with them. I mean, to be honest with you, we've given them weapons. I mean, we've trained their soldiers. I mean, we've done so much. But I do agree that the F-16 thing, but it will take years, honestly, for them to, unless we're already training them. I mean, unless we already have them here and training on them, anticipating that we're going to ship them over. But do you know how much money those planes are?
You know what?
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we were already doing that because they brought Ukrainians over here to train them for the tanks. Remember? So they were like, well, since we have them here for the tanks, we'll just tell the world that, hey, they're only here to learn how to operate tanks.
And I don't think
we won't tell them about the F-16s. We'll just tell them tanks.
Yeah.
Would not put it past them at all.
You know what? The thing is, we're in trouble here in America, right? Debt is a huge problem for us. And so to me, we shouldn't be sending them money, which he also promised $350 million more, plus F-16s. Come on. It's just
what? It's just what? Say it.
It's maddening.
It is maddening.
There's no other words. He won't sit down. He won't sit down and talk to the Republicans here in the United States, but he'll sit down and talk to Zelensky and promise him more money. I mean, he's talking to all these people that aren't really doing anything for America, to be honest with you. And he says that the Republicans in Washington are our biggest problem. Our biggest problem is Biden.
Yeah,
and
100%.
these Democrats.
100%. That's the biggest problem in America. And, Joe Biden just here recently said the biggest threat in America, and he was saying it to black people, that is white supremacy. But the biggest threat in America are the ones that's destroying America. White supremacy. Do y'all actually know any white supremacists? I mean, do anybody? I mean,
you. I know you. You're an Uncle Tom, you're a coon, you're a white supremacist.
Yeah. Those kind of words that get my channel taken down. So, look, listen, this is really ridiculous because Joe Biden will want everyone to believe that it's white people you ain't black. That's the problem. He'll want everyone to believe that white supremacy is the biggest problem. But no, the Democrats are. They have this whole Build Back Better again where they're destroying the country, right? And it's going to get a lot worse. Talking about getting a lot worse, our southern border. The southern border is getting a lot worse. And all of the people that are coming in, because the liberal mainstream media, they don't talk about it. So the people that really need to see this, they don't ever see it. They don't know what's happening. But then when they do see something about the southern border, guess who they're blaming? Who do you think the Democrats are blaming for the chaos on the southern border? They never take responsibility for their actions. They never do. Listen to Mayor Adams all the way in New York as he's talking about the southern border crisis.
The numbers are really alarming when you look at it. But the problem here is on several levels. Number one, we have to be honest, the Republican Party, they have blocked real comprehensive immigration reform.
Let me stop it right there. You hear him? He said the Republican Party, they've stopped immigration reform. The Republicans want you to come through the front door. All of the Democrats, again, I've repeated this so many times, the Democrats just want to have open borders. The Democrats believe that a border wall is racist, yet they have a lot of these leftist liberals, progressives live around in gated communities. And they don't want any of them coming to their homes. Now he's complaining because of people showing up, and he's saying we just need to provide them jobs. Well, what about the jobs the American people should be able to have access to? They're bringing all these people in there, and it's all by design. I'm telling you right now, it's all by design.
This is not sustainable. This needs to be addressed. But in the short time, we need to allow those who come to the country to be able to work. If we could allow them to work, it would take the pressure and responsibility off of the local cities.
You hear this? We need to allow them to come into the country and allow them to work. Next, they're going to be saying we need to allow them to come into the country and we need to allow them to vote. See, that's what it really comes down to. When you hear the left talking about voter suppression, that's who they're talking about, because they're not talking about American citizens who can go vote. They're talking about non-American citizens that can't vote when they talk about voter suppression, because everybody that I know that's black, they have a driver license. A lot of them go to the liquor store. A lot of them get on airplanes. A lot of them hold a job. So it's not the fact that they don't have ID so they can't vote. They're wanting these people that shouldn't be here in the first place.
We spent over $1 billion, and we're looking to spend over $4 billion in the upcoming year. This is not sustainable for us, and we believe it's not right for the people of this city. FEMA allocated out of the $350 million, only $30 million went to New York City. So we receive the large sum of migrants in our city, but we're not getting the funding to match. The plan on our bordering states is simply use the money from FEMA to bus migrants to New York City. That is just not a workable solution.
Well, why don't you reach out to your buddy, your pal in the White House and tell him to close the border? Then you wouldn't be talking about this. You could really address the crime that's happening in New York. But you don't want to do that either. You rather point the finger at Republicans and say that Republicans are the reason why we're having the crisis at the border. And it's because of Republicans why we have all these people coming to New York and we don't have jobs for them. This is an invasion of our country. Now, I've said it so many times. A lot of people say, yeah, well, we already know. But we can't stop talking about it because they want us to stop talking about it while they continue doing it. Help me understand that. Help me understand. I've had so many people in the past go, Will, we need to stop just talking about it. Really? Stop talking about it while they do it. Just allow it to happen. Just ignore it. Maybe, just maybe it'll go away. It hasn't gone away yet, and they're not going to allow it to go away. Talking about another problem that's more than likely not going to go away, the FBI. The FBI has become the weaponization, the strong arm for the Democrat Party. But it's become so bad. You even have the progressive liberal news even talking about it, that the FBI, something probably should be done, because they know very well that if the Republicans vamp the FBI and the Republicans start putting conservatives in there, then these tyrannical leftist, socialist, communist, Demoncrats, every last one of them will have a problem with the FBI, because the FBI would no longer be the strong arm of the Democrat Party. That's not a good thing. So now they're really, truly trying to act like they need to fix it. See, long as the FBI is doing the bidding of the Democrat Party, there's no problem. Everything is as it should be. Look at this one with Chuck Todd. All right, listen to what he says about the FBI.
Look, trust in the FBI is eroding left and right.
Really?
Feels like we're in the moment that we need a real church committee, that this is a moment like when the J. Edgar Hoover FBI clearly was no longer helping the American people. There was a moment. This feels like we might be in one of those moments.
You hear that? Sound like it might be one of those moments. Really? You think just maybe might be one of those moments? Really? Now they're saying this after 2016, 2018, 2020, 2022. Now they're saying it going into the 2024. They're trying to act like it. But see, they don't want the FBI to change. They just want to make sure the FBI continue doing what they're doing. And if they can't continue doing what they're doing, then they want to really look at it to see how they can make it even worse for the American people. Now, the FBI has been caught red-handed. I guess in this case it'd be blue-handed with all of the criminal activities that they've been doing. They've actually been spying on the American people. So they have this policy in place, and I didn't know about this. This all just came to light. And Mayorkas is actually calling for the extension of it, because to my understanding, it's supposed to run out this December. But instead of them looking at foreign adversaries, they've actually used this policy to look at and spy on Americans without a warrant. They're just doing it because they can. And Mayorkas is saying, hey, we need to keep this in place, because they look at you, the American people, as the threat to their so-called democracy. Listen to this. Listen to this. If this doesn't infuriate you, then you don't have blood running through your veins.
Overstepped its authority in conducting investigations against Americans. Good evening. Welcome to Washington. I'm Brett Baer. Breaking tonight, new allegations that the FBI overstepped its authority in conducting investigations against American citizens. And not just a few times. We're talking in the hundreds of thousands of times. Correspondent David Spont is at the Justice Department tonight with the breaking details. Good evening, David.
Brett, good evening. This story is quite something. This court document released just a few hours ago found that the FBI misused a popular digital surveillance tool on everyday Americans more than 278,000 times in 2020 going into 2021.
Did y'all hear that number? Did y'all hear that number? Did you hear the number, Shannon?
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
A quarter of a million.
It's
a quarter of a million times that they used it against the American people.
Abused it.
Yeah, abused it. And this is only supposed to be for foreign adversaries, you know, like
China
and
Russia.
Right? And other ones, Iran, Venezuela, right? For foreign adversaries, not the American people, because the left, they see us as adversaries.
We're specifically talking about Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, also known as FISA. It gives the FBI and other agencies the ability to digitally surveil without a court order or a warrant We now know the FBI used the tool on people connected to the civil unrest following the death of George Floyd on the streets of the United States, those involved in the January 6th Capitol attack, even political donors. According to the court, a redacted name or names, quote, conducted a batch query for over 19,000 donors to a congressional campaign. The analyst who ran the query advised that the campaign was a target of foreign influence, but the National Security Division determined that only 8 identifiers used in the query had sufficient ties to foreign influence activities to comply with the querying standard. The judge wrote that the problems were persistent and widespread, and, quote, it may become necessary to consider other responses, such as substantially limiting the number of FBI personnel with access to unminimized Section 702 information. Federal intelligence officials are pushing hard and begging Congress practically to fully re-up Section 702, all in the name of safety. It expires December 31st of this year.
Now, listen, this is when it gets to this dude here, Mayorkas. Now, let me remind you, they use this they abuse this and use this to spy on American people.
They weaponized it.
They have weaponized it against the American people. Now, listen to what he says. We know that they weaponize it against the American people, not foreign adversaries, against the Americans.
It is critical that Congress fully renew Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which provides fast, reliable, and specific insights that enhance our understanding of the threats posed by our adversaries.
You hear this? Posed by our adversaries. So who are the adversaries? Oh, MAGA Republicans, conservatives, Christians. That's who they're going after. Parents. That's who their adversaries are. Not foreign adversaries, the American people. Maybe they believe that all of us that are Christians, conservative, that we're foreign adversaries, that we should not even be here.
We're seeing some bipartisan action on Capitol Hill. Republicans and Democrats not happy. Congressman Jerry Nadler said today the FBI has promised changes before, quote, without significant changes to the law to prevent this abuse, I will oppose the reauthorization of this authority. Now, government data, and I'm reading it now, shows the FBI conducted approximately 204,000 queries, a 94% drop from 2021 going into 2022, citing that they've made some changes. In a statement we just got from the FBI, they quote the director, Christopher Wray, saying this is, quote, completely unacceptable. But Brett, no doubt this caps off a difficult week for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which began criticism from the Durham report on Monday. And of course, those FBI whistleblowers yesterday. Now we have this story today about these surveillance.
Yeah, surveilling the American people. This is no different than the 1940s Germany. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? This is exactly what's happening here in 1940s Germany. They're implementing it all right in front of our faces. And Mayorkas is calling and saying, we need to renew this so we can continue to do this to the American people. That dude needs to go to prison. Straight up need to go to prison. Not only for that, but for the other crap that he's done. Him and the whole lot of them. If not going to prison, at least they need to, for the very least, they need to be removed from office immediately. Immediately. They're not doing a service at all for the American people. They're doing a disservice. But you know what? Again, that's part of the plan. That's part of the agenda of taking the United States of America down. Let me ask you this. What do you think about your dollars going to the World Bank? What do you think about that? Now, hear me out. We've already had several banks here in the United States of America pretty much collapse, default, because they were making bad loans, bad investments. And then they default. And then, starting with the one in California, in San Francisco, they bailed that bank out because a lot of leftists and communists in China was connected to that. So they bailed them out. So now here we are. You have the World Bank. Why in the world would we give money, U.S. taxpayer dollars, to the World Bank? Why would we do that? Because they're gearing up for the next plan? What? Look at this one, Joe Biden. Joe Biden straight up says that he's going to give him millions of dollars to the World Bank, people. This is the world government we're talking about. The new world order, the one, that whole new world order that they say was conspiracy theory, and now they all embrace it. That one.
And yesterday I announced that the United States plans to contribute another $250 million to the pandemic fund at the World Bank to make sure the world is better prepared to prevent, detect, and respond to future pandemics.
So we're going to give money to the World Bank so they can do the future plan. What? So they can deal with the future plan. We're giving money to the World Bank. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that one. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Again, just like everything else, they're ushering in this one world global system right in front of our faces, and we're all supposed to just go along with it. We're not supposed to acknowledge it. We're supposed to act like it's just the norm. This is what's supposed to happen. Don't even fight it. Don't even ask any questions about it. Because if you ask any questions, then something's wrong with you for questioning what the leftist radical progressives are doing. You're questioning it. Something's wrong with you. Especially when it comes to the big tech. You can't question anything that comes from the left, because then there's something wrong with you. Talking about questioning something. Did you know that the NAACP, they put a warning out to people like Will Johnson and
people of color
not to go to Florida? Really? I've been to Florida many times and I've never had an issue. Before I was into talking about what's happening in our day-to-day lives as far as religion and politics, I've been to Florida, and I've been to Florida multiple times after that. Florida is not a racist state. Where are they getting this from? They're pushing this narrative that Florida is racist, and I'm pretty sure they're going to start kicking it up for Texas as well, right? But they have a lot of Demoncrats here in Texas. The reason why they're doing it in Florida, because in the 2022, a lot of Republicans pretty much swept the state. So now they're trying to say the whole entire state is racist. Listen to this from the NAACP telling people like Will Johnson not to go to Florida. Now I really want to go to Florida, even more so. And if you are
people of color,
don't listen to these leftist radical idiots trying to tell you you can't go somewhere, you shouldn't go somewhere because it's racist.
NAACP has issued a travel advisory for Florida, and it's urging the Black community to avoid visiting or moving to the Sunshine State. According to the statement, the advisory comes in direct response to Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' quote, aggressive attempts to erase Black history. And it calls Florida openly hostile toward African Americans, people of color, and the LGBTQ individuals. CNN has reached out to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for comment, but did not receive a response.
You see that? They're telling them not to go. Telling them not to go. Imagine that. How does that work? So Black people don't go to Florida. Don't go to Florida. Well, let's listen to a representative from the great state of Florida. This young man. Let's hear what he has to say, because all of this is causing the division that they want. They want the division. They're like pushing for the division. Listen what he has to say.
And they used the fear and the anger of something in our country that was disgusting. You know, Black people being discriminated against in America, slavery, Jim Crow, etc., has all been terrible. But what they're doing now is they're weaponizing that history. They're weaponizing that deep-seated anger for political gain today. And that's what's dividing our country. And we got to get past this. Look, we got people in our country, whether you're black, you're white, you're Hispanic. The number one thing we all want is we want our kids to thrive and be successful. We want to be able to earn money in our careers, start a business, and just live life in harmony and peace. But when you have a political party who tries to look at everything through the vein of race, and when these stories pop up, they start showing up at every funeral that's going on or being involved in every story that's happening, that's the stuff that is actually dividing our country more than anything else.
Yeah. But you know what? That's the agenda. They try to do everything they can to divide the country. Florida's not a racist state. Texas is not a racist state. Arkansas is not a racist state. Oklahoma's not a racist state. California, no, it's not a racist state. The United States of America is not a racist country. But if you listen to those on the left, they have you believe that it is racist. You know what it makes me think about? And some of y'all probably seen me go out and do Man on the Street, right? I do Man on the Street, and I've had conversations with a lot of black people. And a lot of them will say that America is racist, you know, because of the history. But they never acknowledge who did all the racism in the past. They kind of like leave all that out. It's like they get, you know, they lose their brain cells when it goes to that. They just kind of fall off. But I've had conversations with them, and I asked them a question. I said, well, if America is so racist, why are you here? Why are you here if America is so racist? And then I asked them another question. Can you name one other nation on the planet where black people have it as well as they do in the United States of America? Just one. Just one. Where do black people have it better than they do in America? And see, when those wheels start turning, it's like sometimes they'll throw a wrench in it, you know, to stop the wheels from turning, because they don't want to have to think. They don't want their minds to go, well, maybe I am wrong. Oh, I am wrong. I'm wrong. Throw a wrench in there. Stop it from turning. It happens all the time. I see it happen all the time. Then they want to change the subject. Because there's not a single nation on the planet where black people don't have it as well as they do in the United States of America. Why do you think everybody wants to get to America? Look at our southern border. Everybody wants to get to America. And the ones that don't want to get to America and they hate America, they want to destroy it. So they have some kind of feelings about America. Love it or hate it. It's one or the other. One or the other. Okay. All right. So I know on YouTube, I set up my Nightbot. It's my fault. And I thought I had it set up correctly, but I'm gonna have to go through there and look at it again. My producer, she vamped the Nightbot. She vamped it. So I'm gonna have to go through. I do apologize if it was, I don't think it was messing with anybody, right? I'm talking about on YouTube. I think it was just, you know, putting out, I configured it incorrectly. Something I did wrong. But, yeah, it's telling me like some of the commands that I put in there doesn't exist. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna have to go back and research it to figure out what I did wrong. But it shouldn't have blocked anyone from saying any comments or anything. So that should have been fine.
You didn't tell me who Nightbot was. I'm like,
she go, who's Nightbot?
Who's a Nightbot?
And I said,
what are they talking about?
I said, it's me. She go, I removed it.
I'm like, oh, what are you saying? It's
so
like
she vamped it. She removed it. And I'm like, okay. So, but it wasn't working properly. It's my fault. But did we get anyone to bless us, Shannon?
Oh, let me look. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me say this real quick. And do you have this where you can put up on the website? On my website, everybody, let me tell you this real quick. Do any of y'all ever invest into like gold and, you know, silver? Now, I have, just to be honest with you, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not, you know what, you can talk to whoever it is that you want to talk to about it. But one thing that I've been doing, I've been trying to get a green thumb. Do I look like I would have a green thumb? You know, I hope y'all are hitting my thumb, you know, on Rumble and YouTube. I hope you're hitting my thumb on there. But I'm trying to get a green thumb, just like the one on Rumble. So I've been growing some onions and some broccoli and some I like spicy stuff too. And I have some serranos. So I've been trying to get a green thumb, trying to play around with it. Because, and the reason why I brought it up, because with everything that's going on, right? You have the banks collapsing, and the people telling you buy gold and silver, which I don't have. I think you probably should. But what do you do between? Because gold and silver is from, you buy gold here and silver, but gold and silver is for when you get to here. What do you do in here in between? You need to be able to grow food. Right? This is what I'm doing. Let's put it up on the screen. And if you can scroll down on it for me, if you go to uniteamericafirst.com and click on conservative shop and you scroll down for me, right there on the right hand side, right there next to me, right there. You see that? I have it on my website, some of the things that I've been doing, and that's purchasing seeds. These are organic seeds.
Heirloom seeds.
Yes. So they have everything on there. It's not even just food on it. They have flowers on there, which I thought was really interesting.
They have herbs.
And spices. So if you haven't already, take a look at it. UniteAmericaFirst.com, right? And click on Conservative Shop. And then scroll down just a little bit and click on the seeds. You'll be surprised on how reasonable the seeds are.
Yeah, like for carrots, it's like $3.25.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I'm like, man, this is pretty. But you know what? I've really been kind of enjoying it. And for those of you that have gardens and those of you that have planted stuff before, you're like, yes, Will, it's such a satisfaction on watching them grow and watching them start to blossom and produce something. And then being able to consume it and eat it, knowing that, hey, you know what's on it. So it's really fun. I like getting my hands getting in the dirt, and I'm like, here I am, playing in dirt. But you know what? People understand. Go to uniteamericafirst.com, click on Conservative Shop, and check it out. Check them out.
Yeah, use our link, please, because it's a sponsor link, and you get 10% off with coupon code WILL.
Yep. Use promo code WILL. If you want to interested in it. Like I said, point A, point B, gold and silver, but you can't eat gold and silver. I'm just saying. Okay, let's see. Did anyone bless us? Probably not on YouTube since I messed it up with the bot.
You messed me up with the bot. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? On Facebook, we have Ann that blessed us.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ann. I really do appreciate it. Okay, let's go split screen on this. All right, everybody. We're going over to Rumble now for the rest of the story. Some of the stuff I have to share with you next, I can't share on these other platforms because they don't allow speech to be free like Rumble. You know what I'm talking about. So there it is right there. Go to it. Rumble.com/Will Johnson /live, or you can click on the link. Let's go full screen on that, please. You can click, or you can go to this. It takes you to my website as well, www.uaf.media, that you see there at the bottom, www.uaf.media. Okay, you can go there and just click on Rumble, watch live on Rumble. You click on it there and it take you directly to this video, or you can go to rumble.com/Will Johnson /live. Okay, see you over there, everybody. Thank you so much. God bless you. For everyone who's going to stay and not come, I will see you tomorrow.